Yeah, we're gonna go through a 21st century tune-up. Now in the old days, change out the spark plugs, change out the wire, do the flush of the radiator, plug wire, normal kind of stuff. But today, it's nice because you have a computer. We're gonna plug in this ottotest, plug it right into OBD2 under the dash, and it's gonna wirelessly give us some codes, tell us what's going on. We can use those to figure out what we need to replace and not just throw a bunch of parts at it.
Yeah, it's great because now we can be interactive. So we can get the information, we can actually put some back in. And you know, with the wireless tablet here in this form, I can walk around the vehicle, I can input stuff, I can do screen grabs, I can throw it into a document for my customers. It's a real great way to do it. Or you can throw your laptop on and basically get the same function.
I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in.
All right, why don't you pop the hood and I'll do a visual. See what we got under here. And actually, it's pretty clean under here. He's got more dirt in the interior than he does under the engine compartment. Now we got a 5.7 liter engine, as Brian said, used to make 350 horsepower. I don't see anything, you know, like a raccoon or any, you know, nest built up under there. So that'll be at least nice to work under. Let's pull some of these codes out, see what we've got, and we'll start using some brain cells along with it and do a little walkthrough on the diagnostics. All right, let's get our tablet linked up. So let's see if you can pick the right vehicle there.
Easy, easy.
All right, so we got GM. We're wireless connecting to our VCI unit.
Cool. Corvette,
Yeah.
04, engine size, VIN. So yes, we're sure.
We definitely got the right one. All right, you're not picking body.
Why not?
It won't fix door dings.
Well, you know, there's latches and locks and gauge clusters.
Yep, so we can check airbags and all that stuff, but we're gonna go into engine side. So, yep, engine control module. We're not dealing with the transmission, so, okay, diagnostic trouble codes. And we'll get some of these, you know, DTC information, so let's pick on that guy there. And history codes, let's see at least what we've got while it's not running, but powered on. Okay, so we got a P0300, that's an engine misfire. So kind of in sync with what you felt while you were driving it, so that's good. But we got 8 cylinders, so we need to get a little bit deeper. And what we can do is we can back out a couple of screens, we can go live here, and we can see what each cylinder is doing as it's running. We can look a little bit more on the history of, you know, of collected misfire information.
Welcome to the 21st century tune-up. This is the way to work right here.
I like this style. Okay, now we got our engine fired up and we are reading live. And if we go through our misfire screen.
We don't have any now, but it looks like over history, 1 and 3 really have been hitting a lot.
Yeah, you know, and you've got, you know, over time a spark plug gap, let's say, might grow, and your ignition coil under light loads like idle might be able to throw the gap and spark. But like when you were driving it, I'm sure you were nailing it. And those conditions, you're picking up a misfire because you can't jump the gap. So it kind of makes some sense. So we've got some historical misfires on 1 and 3. So we can do either ignition or fuel for a misfire. So let's go ahead and get fuel. So let me go through here and look at our fuel trims. All right, so if we look at bank 1, we've got a short-term 4%, long-term 5%. So if we add them up, 9%, bank 2 adds up 5 and 9 to 14%. Not enough to cause a misfire. If we were somewhere over 20%, maybe we could start looking at fuel being the reason. So let's ignore fuel for now. Let's back up and go to ignition, see if we're commanding ignition. So
yeah, looks like those are all on.
So the PCM is reading everything right. It's actually commanding that coil. So we might actually have a coil problem even though we're telling it to fire. So why don't we shut the engine down and we can start running through some diagnostics on 1 and 3. Now the thing we want to remember is 1 and 3 fire next to each other. And what the engine's doing is it's reading that data wheel with a sensor and it knows position of the crank, but it's actually accelerating with each fire. So misfire detection is actually looking at the acceleration of that.
It's amazing it can read it at that speed. That's
I know,
incredible.
2 cylinders side by side, it may not know which one was misfiring because of that acceleration. So we'll check both and we'll see if we've got 2 coils bad or maybe just 1 or a plug or a wire. So.
We determined that it's either cylinder 1 or cylinder 3 we're getting a misfire. So what we want to do to test is I'm going to go ahead and pull a spark plug boot. I'm going to plug in this tester. Now you could just use the spark plug. Problem with a normal spark plug is that it just doesn't have enough resistance. This has extra resistance to really make that coil pack work and try to simulate that load and see if we've got some kind of intermittent spark. So why don't we go ahead and crank her up? Ah, very nice. Okay, kill it. We got a good spark there. So we know 1 is fine. Let's try, see if we can real quick switch out to 3. Okay, I got 1 back in. See 3 come out. Good. Now, stick the tester in there. Put it back on our ground again. All right, go for it. There you go. Yeah, that's intermittent. I mean, we had actually 1, and then it just stopped going. So now we know we have 3. So next thing we need to do, let's go ahead and swap wires, and then we can determine whether it's the wire or whether it's the coil. Do that real quick. Okay, I got that wire swapped out. Go ahead, hit the key. Aha! Okay, that's it. Our coil on number 3, that's our problem. We've diagnosed, the computer's sending the signal, everything else is good, 1 is fine, we just got a bad coil on 3. So that's cool. Now this thing does have 60,000 miles on it. Probably a good time to just go ahead and call Federated, get a new set of plug wires, 1 coil, and we will be set.